Hi everyone, today I'm going to tackle one of the hot topics of the internet playground, which sim racing game is best, and answer why for me, Gran Turismo 7 is currently my platform of choice. Of course, there's no definitive answer to this question, whether you enjoy iRacing, Assetto Corsa or anything else. It's all based on your personal preferences and circumstances. So we'll be looking at these various factors as I explain what made me choose GT7 as my go-to game. Hopefully this video might also act as an information point for anyone considering taking up this hobby or looking to take their sim racing path in new directions. So, of the countless reasons why someone may choose a specific title, I've narrowed it down to 10 categories for consideration here. If we were to put these criteria in our own individual priority order, each of us would likely have a different list based on personal factors such as our free time, price, experience and what we generally consider important in our games. You might prefer fun over realism or certain racing disciplines such as GT3, rally or road cars. Everyone's different. For me, as someone with limited free time, average talent and an old-fashioned gaming mindset of enjoying offline modes, I'd rank these criteria like this. Now, I think most people would agree that the best sim racing game is the one that best suits each individual's personal preferences, but within the elements of this list there are some objective facts about various sim racing titles that can be compared and reviewed. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that I like a good chart, so here's one I made earlier, scoring a selection of titles in each criteria out of 5. Of course, there's still some wiggle room for personal opinion on the scores presented here. This is just to show an example of my own feelings about these particular games. But you can see that for me, Gran Turismo scores highly in my high priority areas such as accessibility, tracks and cars, and single player content. To me, Gran Turismo 7 is extremely accessible. Being on a console, I can just switch on and be qualifying for an online race in around a minute and a half, including setting up VR, headphones and loading in, and for someone with very little free time, this is a major win. I can also choose to easily move my PS5 from my rig to my living room and crash out on my sofa making liveries, taking photos in scapes mode or grinding out some easy credits for new cars with a regular controller. While I do prioritise realism and handling, I accept that GT7 isn't close to the detailed tyre models of iRacing or Assetto Corsa Competizione, but I also accept that despite me being the same age as Fernando Alonso, my chances of becoming a professional racing driver might have now slipped me by. So I don't chase that ultra realism anymore, I just want to have fun, and GT7 straddles the line between game and simulator perfectly for my needs. Wheel feedback is plenty good enough for my level of talent, and it has improved in recent updates too. There's enough tracks to keep me occupied and the garage of 500 cars is more than I'll ever be able to use. The single player game structure is expansive, if not the best in the series, but certainly eclipses what you find in more serious titles, for lack of a better word, and livery customization is one of the best I've seen. Audio in ACC is probably the best I've ever heard, and maybe one of GT7's weaker areas, but on balance, it's not a deal breaker for me. Price is a big factor for most people too. I would absolutely love to have a maxed out gaming PC and play iRacing and Assetto Corsa Evo at ultra settings with motion rig, VR and everything, but in reality this simply isn't possible or practical for me at the moment. I could go on forever about all these factors and comparisons, but I'll end with this. I started playing racing games with Super Monaco GP back in 1989 on the Sega Mega Drive. At that glorious time this cost me £130 for the console and £40 for the game. Adjusted for inflation, £170 would be the equivalent of £540 today. In 2025 you can buy a second-hand PS5, PSVR 2 and GT7 for around £600 and do this. Thanks for watching.